the Eagles practice live for a great cause this Sunday. Tickets are just $10, and all proceeds benefit the Eagles Autism Foundation. Get your tickets now at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/public practice. You can imagine it's going to be a lot of fun to be around. We also told you about youth. Michael Clay, the youngest coordinator of any team in the National Football League. And you saw he was playing for Oregon back in 2012. Okay? I think I was sitting in his booth in 2012 doing preseason games, which speaks to his youth and apparently also to my rapidly advancing age.
That's amazing. I mean, to be a 29-year-old coordinator, look, we still got the starting receivers out there. They've got three young, explosive guys in Rager, Watkins, and Smith.
All on the field right now as Flacco takes the snap, and there was a tangle. Before that ball was thrown, Michael Jackson was right there with Rager, who couldn't quite get loose.
Let's see the tangle that you described. Can you describe the tangle?
Is that a tangle? Well, it could have been a tango. I mean,
so you're allowed to hit them within the first 5 yards, and you're allowed to stay on. I think usually they'll call that illegal contact. You're allowed to chuck them once. They don't really want you to just hang on them like that, but they're letting them play, I suppose.
That's game one. Pushing third down now. First down is Devontae Smith, his second catch.
He gets separation pretty much every time. Man-to-man coverage. Oh, no. See you, Michael Jackson. That was sweet. A little jerk out there by Devontae Smith.
Back to the near side and good yardage out to near the 48-yard line for Gainwell. Pick up about 7 yards. Off runs with 1:35 left to go in the half as they run the 2-minute drill. Winovich got him around the ankles as he tried to step up in the pocket for a loss of 7.
Working against Matt Pryor. Pryor's a right tackle. Winovich off the edge. Pryor extends his hand. You got to finish. You got to run his feet there. I don't have a problem with the set. I don't have a problem with the hand placement. But when Winovich dips, you got to run your feet, Pryor, and move him out of there. Just a little bit. If you just run his feet a little bit, Flacco wouldn't be able to step up and make a throw.
They look terrible.
So after an Eagles timeout stops the clock with about 25 to go till halftime. It's a 3rd and 10 now for the offense. And Flacco has played this entire first half. Still on his own side of the field. Firing. That's a nice catch by Stoll up near midfield. Short first down yardage to 48 after a pick up of 7.
Decision time here for the Eagles. 4th and 4, and Stoll caught it. Right now, they look like they're going to go for it. You really want to take up more time here in case you don't get it. Although now 19 nothing, they might not care.
First down. And go like this, though. No, I don't.
30-second timeout.
This is the explosive type thing you're looking for on Tuesday in the joint practice. Check this out. That's as good as it gets for Jalen Rager.
I really don't understand how those guys do that. I mean, I know they've got really good gloves. The gloves are a little tackified, but still. You jump in the air like that and snare it with one hand. Although, you know what? They practice that a lot more than they used to.
I was just going to say.
I don't remember guys practicing that, but ever since Odell had that unbelievable catch, those guys practice one-hand catches a lot now.
Well, they're not going to punt it. They're going to go for it on 4th down.
I love it.
45 seconds to go in the half. Flacco with some pressure coming, throwing, and it's incomplete and picked off. On the camera, diving interception for Harvey Lange. Just like a punt, with 38 seconds to go here in the half.
Dude, the Eagles look terrible. I mean, I know it's a preseason game, man. They look terrible. Jesus, man. And they're just like, it's pretty ugly.
So the interception from Longy, and now see what the Patriots want to do here with 38 seconds. Got a timeout. What do you want to test out here? Try to get yourself in a field goal range. See what the absolutely do. Yeah, absolutely. This is an opportunity for Mac Jones. Firing deep down the field. Oh, what a play!
Oh, he dropped it. Shit.
Carey was going to draw that in inside the 10, and it came out as he went to the ground.
That was a nice ball by Mac Jones.
It was, man.
Fell hard on his shoulder, bottom of the screen.
Why, though? I mean, it makes it sound like the Eagles. Hey, it makes it sound like the Eagles are like some great team or something, which they're not. Why aren't you playing your guys? Makes no sense. I don't get it, man. Why are you not? You mean these guys are fucking making it look like they're good or something. They're not good.
21 career games for the former first-round pick. 45 receptions, 414 yards, and 4 touchdowns. It's not been gaudy numbers by any stretch. For the
honestly, dude, these guys are not good. I don't know what they're doing.
You look at what the Patriots are putting out there in terms of their wide receivers. We haven't mentioned Nelson Aguilar's name yet tonight, but he's in a lot of ways their number one.
Well, they paid him like it. I was surprised by the contract they gave Aguilar this offseason. Given the inconsistency he's had in his career, but he had a really nice year for the Raiders last year, and he still has that speed and quickness.
All Eagles fans will have to remember his 9 catches and 84 yards in Super Bowl 52. Larry walked it off under his own power, but
I guess
he's shaking up. Nelson Aguilar played for the Eagles from 2015 through 19. Nearly 900 yards and 8 touchdowns for the Raiders last year.
Almost felt like Nelson was like every other year. You know? Not a great rookie year, good the next year, not a great next year, then he was good. Wasn't good as last year as an Eagle. Was good last year for the Raiders. I like that right there, by the way, Scott. Devontae Smith studying on the side.
You think they're going to be 4-13?
Yeah, that's a good word to use for a football player.
Second down. Scrambling to try to get out of bounds and can't. After the catch was J.J. Taylor. 8-yard pickup.
Good job by McPherson there to come with outside leverage, make him go inside.
So they clock it, bringing up a 4th down with 12 seconds left to go here in the half.
So it's a little thing, Scott, but these little things matter, right? Zach McPherson knows the situation. He knows that J.J. Taylor is going to try and get out of bounds. So when he came up to tackle him, he came outside in with outside leverage. So Taylor said, I got to go upfield. You know, if he lets him get out of bounds, then the Patriots save that timeout, and they're able to make one more throw and get a field goal, perhaps. It's a little thing, but that will not go unnoticed by Jonathan Gannon. They will point that out in the meeting, that McPherson understood the situation and his leverage.
That man has thought through every defensive
offense. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
He's thought through every defensive situation, possibility. I mean, and he talked us through many of them when we sat down with him yesterday.
He really enjoyed calling the defense for his first time last week. We were laughing. We were saying it's like you're playing Madden, and you have the controller in your hands, except it's real dudes.
They look terrible. Yeah, and guess why they want to do that? Because they want to fuck the Rays over. The Rays are never at 100 million. I don't ever remember the Rays being 100 million. Honestly, dude, I don't ever remember the Rays having $100 million payroll. And it's almost like, yeah, oh, completely. And especially the Rays. Especially the Rays. See, the Rays save all that money because they're out managing it. Boy, I tell you what, that's really uncool. It's totally uncool. Nope. Says requesting call.
Waiting down there. I haven't. Nothing's changed.
Neither here either.
What are you using? A brick?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay, hang on. Do you know where your power supply on the brick is?
No, I don't.
Do you know where the brick is?
I have it in front of me here, but
Okay.
it's
You're
like,
gonna see on the back of it, there's gonna be like a little power cord. On the back of it, all you're gonna have to do is just unplug it. It's just like 9V, like for 9 volt.
Chris, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cords.
It should be towards. It's gonna be at the far right or the far left. That's where they put their power cords, the power input.
Okay.
We're all right. I mean, I got it back up ready.
Okay,
I'm not stressing.
Okay. Power. Okay, I see it.
Okay, just unplug that for a few seconds.
Okay, I did.
All right, hang on. We're gonna power cycle the bastard.
Should I plug it back in?
Yeah, about now should work.
Okay.
You guys all go like 10, 15 seconds. That way it kind of clears it. It's kind of like
Test.
the baby.
Okay, yeah, now, because it's not connected now.
Yeah, I know. We're repower cycling it. It's kind of doing like a soft reset kind of massage. We have to do it on our end from time to time.
Yeah, but I don't think this was on my end. I mean, I connected earlier with someone else. This has got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, because I literally just got off waiting on the same exact system, and he has a brick.
Okay.
So,
Well, now we're not like. So you say it's recycling?
yeah.
Yeah, because none of the power. Okay, here they come. You want me to try it now?
Yeah, you're right. If it's ready to go, yeah. Give it a
Test.
shout.
Yeah. Here. Okay. Hold on for a second here. Okay. Boom. 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 Boom.
Yeah, look who's there.
Okay, good.
Wow.
Good evening, America. You never know how you start a show. The magic of radio. Hope everybody's having a fantastic night. Why wouldn't you be? It's the second week of the exhibition season. And if you're joining us on our social media platforms, we welcome you. Like Trevor, thank you very much, Trevor. Real cool. You could join us on our Twitch and our YouTube channels. Always cool. And if you're streaming our show on USA Radio Network and also on the DanSileoShow.com website, we really appreciate it. Or if you hear us in one of our local affiliates around the country, we so appreciate it as well. Yeah, no, it's been a wild week, has it not? It's been crazy. And I so love the fact that we are, like I said, into the second preseason week of the NFL season. And I say this to you. You know, it's really interesting to see. It's interesting to see how people prepare themselves for success. I'm going to tie this into a little bit of what's going on in the world and how football coaches prepare themselves each and every single year, or some do, for success. Let me show you this here. So tonight, I'm watching the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New England Patriots on the NFL Network as we're talking to you. Again, I'm not going to wade too much into anything here because it is exhibition football. It doesn't count in the standings. But you know what? If I always say this, if you're keeping score, I want to win the game. Right? I want to win the game. All that being said, one team is not playing really any of their star players at all. Not playing any of their star players. The other team is playing all of their star players, and they're looking at every single person that's on the football roster as they prepare for the upcoming season. Who do you think is doing that? Playing all of their players and all of their big name guys? Bill Belichick or the new head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, Nick Sirianni? Who do you think is playing? Remember something. Here's a guy that pretty much knows who he has on his roster right now, and Bill Belichick, and he's considered the best coach in the history of the National Football League. I ask you, I don't even think you really need to sit around and think about it. Bill's playing all of his first-line guys because he wants to take a good look at everybody. They were 7-9 a year ago. This guy didn't think he obviously was prepared to play a football season last year because here's a football team for the first time in 20 years did not have a winning record. Bill has averaged over 11 wins for over 15 years, and he's not going to go through that again. So you know what he did? He threw his frontline guys out there, and he made very sure that everyone knew every job is open. Nobody's job is safe here in New England. Now, the other hand, you have a rookie coach, Nick Sirianni, not playing any of his guys. Or sporadically. Who do you think is going to be better prepared for the upcoming season? He wants to find out what he has right now. You know, Bill Belichick. That kind of goes in a little bit to what I'm going to kind of tie into what we've seen with leadership in our country a little bit. Talk about being prepared or lack of preparation. Okay? You don't need to. And you know what's funny? With the news and how we're covering this White House or how we're covering any football team or any successful business, you don't really need somebody to give you translation. You can see it for yourself, don't you? If you're a successful person, you know who's a successful person. I don't need Chris Cuomo or I don't need Tucker Carlson to tell me who's successful or not. I know who's prepared, who's not prepared. You can see success because there's attention to detail. Do you think there's really been an attention to detail when it comes to the Afghanistan situation? Do you think it's a coincidence that most of the successful coaches on the planet are prepared for every scenario? If a coach like Bill Belichick is prepared for every single scenario on the planet, why wouldn't the president of the United States be prepared for every single scenario on the planet? Why do we have, again, I say this to you about sports, which is so great. There's no excuses. Coaches in the NFL, college, basketball, nobody ever makes excuses. Why didn't you win? We weren't prepared. What happened? Our players, we didn't show up. We didn't coach well, and we didn't show up as a team. You never hear this. Well, the previous coaching staff had a lot to do with where we are right now and why we lost tonight. Or here's another one here. The other team did a lot of things that we thought were a little shady on how they were able to win a football game. Do you ever hear people saying that stuff in sports? We inherited a really bad roster. Well, we inherited a plan. Coaches are accountable for today. Politicians are not. They throw blame everywhere, except in the mirror. When you watch sports, I really think that that's one of the draws to it too. Is because you don't hear anybody doing the dumb stuff that we hear every day going on in our news cycle. Nobody blames anybody for anything except themselves. How many times have you heard Tom Brady say this? Yeah, I didn't play well tonight. I just didn't get it done tonight. It's on me. There were some things I missed, and we had some pre-snap penalties. We just weren't really prepared tonight. That's on me. We got to be better. Don't you love guys like that? Sports guys they're just natural born leaders. Politicians are not natural born leaders. When you're elected into a position, that doesn't mean you're qualified to be a leader. It's like this. When you draft a guy to your team, you're hoping he's a leader. You don't know if he's one or not. You're praying your best player is your biggest leader. But how many times does that not happen? Like all the time. Where you get your best player and he's not your best leader. You got somebody else on the team. The Yankees had that for a while. Remember Paul O'Neill, who was on those Yankee teams? I never thought it was Derek Jeter at any time. I thought it was Gary Sheffield and Paul O'Neill and those kind of guys. I never thought at any time that Derek Jeter was some verbal leader in some locker room with the Yankees, and Joe Torre came in and he was giving the Yankee guys edicts. I never thought that ever. They called him the captain. I think that was sewn on. I never at any time in Derek Jeter's career ever thought he was the true leader of those Yankee teams. I never did. And yet Jeter was the most consistent. And I would also say this. Let's be candid. If Derek Jeter was in another city, he's Paul Molitor. He's Robin Yount. But he played for the Pinstripes. So, and by the way, for the record here, let me be fair. Sounds like I'm hating on Jeter. I'm not. He's the only Yankee to have 3,000 hits as a Yankee. It's pretty impressive when you think of the guys that have gone through Yankee Stadium. Okay, honestly. The Yankee Hall of Fame, I'd put them up against a Hall of Fame baseball team on what the Yankees could roll out there against you. I mean, really, right? The Yankee Hall of Famers versus baseball's Hall of Famers. I don't know. Be a pretty good ball game. And Jeter's the only 3,000 hit guy? Okay. That includes DiMaggio, Mantle, and Ruth, and Garrick, and all them great players. So, but again, back to the leadership thing, man. I mean, it's sports guys are just it's so good to watch. There's no blaming this guy, that guy. It's all about accountability. I'm watching again, like I said, 19-0 right now. And again, so what? It's not really anything when it comes to scoreboard when you're talking preseason football. But I love watching preparation. I love watching guys that start the preparation for success for an upcoming season or an upcoming event that they have to do. What do you do, and what are the little things you do? How prepared are you? How prepared are you for disasters? If anything that I've learned watching this week with how the President of the United States and how this White House has handled themselves when it came to Afghanistan, they were not prepared, and it's evident. I don't even know where the Vice President of the United States is. I mean, honestly, have you seen her? I heard a comment, and she completely ran away from it, saying I was the last person to know, so I don't know anything. She basically threw the president under a bus today. I thought that was insane. How many times have you ever heard a vice? That would be like an offensive coordinator going, hey, how come the Eagles looked so bad tonight versus the Patriots? I don't know. I wasn't part of the game plan. What? Can you imagine somebody going, watch this? You're like you're the head coach and you're Nick Sirianni and you're like, yeah, you know what, we got beat. And all of a sudden you ask the offensive coordinator, hey, dude, what happened tonight against the Patriots? I mean, I know it's a preseason game, but you guys suck tonight. I don't know. I wasn't part of the game plan. Okay, what? You don't never hear that in a sports room. You will never hear that. You'll never hear that. Never, man. Everybody takes accountability for their own actions. And by the way, I won't lie to you tonight. The Eagles looked horrible. Awful preparation tonight. I mean, and especially if you're trying to earn a job. Take it from the guy who's played a bunch of preseason games. You're trying to earn a job and you are sucking out loud. You don't get very many of these opportunities. And the guy across the way is playing his ones almost the entire night. Because you know why? You're not going to play him in the exhibition game number 3 because that pretty much is your last cut. So this is your dress rehearsal for the upcoming season. Poor preparation. I said it earlier on my stream show this afternoon. I'm going to be looking to see how these guys are playing. They ran them over tonight. One team took advantage of the moment. The other team, I don't know. But this comes with an experience. And, you know, I was thinking about it. And I was like this. I'm like, man, isn't that so true? How you watch how we've handled ourselves. Okay? Get this. Ken just said this on my YouTube channel. You practice all week and you don't have a clue. And by the way, they did practice all week. Patriots played their ones tonight, though. And the Eagles didn't. Why? Do you think you're some sort of Super Bowl contending team? That comes from the upper management guys and Howie Roseman and all the rest of these guys getting in the way again. Getting in the way of a coach's decision. Play these guys. You're not very good right now. You're not very good. Want to hit on Aaron Rodgers. Said something dumb again. Also, I want to talk a little bit more about Bill Belichick and what he's going for over the next couple of years here. I don't think he's playing for a Super Bowl. I'll tell you what he's playing for. We'll do all that next. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. So we made it. Good. I'm sorry? Okay. do you mean by we opened up bumpy? Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Before I get to some football news here, I got to say this about Major League Baseball. So the commissioner of Major League Baseball, and it's, I guess, brain thrust, have decided that they are going to end their relationship with Topps, and they're going to go with Fanatic after a 71-year relationship. And let me throw this at you here. Topps baseball cards right now are at the highest value that they've been in like ever. And the Topps baseball cards are a tradition for the game of baseball. And like I said, they've signed this new deal with Fanatics. Okay, I understand that things change, and I understand that you have, an opportunity to expand the brand here a little bit more. But I would ask you, one of the things that matters the most to Major League Baseball has to be this. Has to be this, right? That you're huge on your traditions. Topps baseball cards. Didn't I just see, like 3 days ago, the Honus Wagner card went for $6.5 million? I mean, we just went last week and we saw a game like, the Field of Dreams game. Baseball, make no mistake about it, my friends, baseball is a tradition game. Of all the sports we have in America, and you're probably saying, Dan, Topps, you know what, man? If you're a kid and you're a young guy, you know that those Topps baseball cards are part of the game. It's how you identified with your favorite ball players. I'm not saying Fanatics is not going to do a good job. I don't know. Maybe they will. But there's just traditions that you have in a sport like baseball that are cool. Collecting baseball cards, collecting Topps. Maybe I'm being an old man, get off my lawn guy. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just being that guy. But dude, man, there's just something when I was a kid, at least. Okay, at least, remember you collected the cards, you put them in your bike spokes and stuff. I know kids don't do that stuff today. And again, maybe I'm aging myself here. Okay, but man, I saw that and I'm like, so you're breaking away. Rob Manfred, who just does a poor job at promoting the sport of baseball. I saw my guy Chris O tweet something out that was really cool, and he's right about it. no matter who the commissioner is, no matter what you think of the game of baseball, and I'm paraphrasing, Chris, it's one of the greatest reality shows of all time. It really is. Baseball's reality show has been going on for over 100 years. And there's a new story to it every single year. This Shohei Ohtani thing is spectacular. What baseball is and brings to its fans, they've lost it a little bit. They brought it back last week. I watched that whole game, man. Come on. Again, maybe I'm getting a little stupid here with the Topps cards, but I don't know. I love traditional baseball. Hey, podcasterwarehouse.com. Do me a favor. Headphones, earbuds, anything you need. You're looking to build a home studio. This is your one-stop place. 25% off of everything. S as in Sam, ILEO. S as in Sam, ILEO. Shipping free. $5, $5,000. Podcasterwarehouse.com. That's podcasterwarehouse.com. By the way, Amy Trask is going to join us, the former CEO of the Raiders, now with CBS Sports. That'll be hour number 2. Want to give you a heads up on it? I will hit on Aaron Rodgers. The difference between Rodgers and Tom Brady. I'll tell you next what that is. Chris, we connected? Yeah, because my cable's out. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, my cable just came back. How we looking? Yep, my cable's back. That's why. My cable went out. Jesus criminy, man. This Cox communication blows out loud. It really does. Because it went out earlier today on me like that, too. Good. Jesus criminy. I'm looking down and I'm going like, what the hell's going on here? Because I saw the cable go out. When the cable goes out, that's never good. Yeah. Hey, Chris, you think that may have knocked me off that whole thing here because of the cable? No? All right. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network, man. The Eagles are just getting throttled tonight by the Patriots. Some would say this, well, the game's a preseason game. It doesn't matter. You want to get your ass kicked when your job's on the line? Hey, get this. That game doesn't matter to you, the fans. But there's 90 guys that are on the sidelines. It matters to half the roster on how you look tonight. Think of that for a minute. And they're running right through them. And you're going like this. Well, the game, it doesn't matter. Well, then play hard. To me, get this. That's also a sign. Well, so what? The game doesn't matter. You're not going to play hard? I think you play hard all the time. You play like a champion when no one's watching. You're going to play like a champion when everyone's watching. You can't systematically keep turning it off and on like that. I don't think you can. I just don't. I think you're either a guy that understands it, or you understand how to play all the time, or you don't. And I want guys on my football team that play hard all the time, not just play hard some of the time. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but you not showing up and you're getting your ass kicked. Guys are jackassing around on the sidelines. Belichick's got his first team guys out at numerous positions, and you're playing like your second and third team guys. I think that's lack of preparation for an upcoming game. That, guys, it matters to people. That's when your front office is in the way again. That's when management gets in the way. I'm just going to get out of that because that game is not even worth talking about. One team didn't show up. Eagles didn't show up tonight. Half that roster, that game mattered. Just remember that. All right. So I want to throw this out to you about how I look at one player versus another player here. Go with me here. We all agree that the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, is a spectacular ball player. Right? Spectacular. Just a great player. Reigning MVP of the league. Just a great football player. Great football player. Tom Brady's the GOAT, though. I would say this to you. Tom Brady, he's going to play this weekend. You could not drag his ass off that field because he loves the game. He loves what he does. He's got passion for what he does. We were talking at the Open. Certain guys are just born leaders, man. Certain guys are just ultra driven, man, to be the greatest of all time. Some guys are just driven to just want to just be exceptional. Those guys are so special, man. When you see them, you know them. Like, watch this. I personally don't think LeBron James is driven like Jordan was, or Tom Brady, or even Tiger. I don't think Mike Tyson was driven to be the greatest of all time. I really don't. I really don't. I think Brady's one of these guys that's just driven to be. It's almost like his resume's incomplete still in how he plays and goes about his business. Aaron Rodgers said something interesting. He said going into the first week of the exhibition season, yeah, I didn't know if I was going to play or not. I wasn't really sure if I was going to play. I thought of retiring, and I'm thinking to myself, well, are you really all in then? Are you really all in with your teammates, or would you bail on me when it gets tough out? You know the guys I'm talking about, right? When things get tough. Hey, I'll tell you what, when everything's going great for Aaron Rodgers is great. But Aaron Rodgers really doesn't have a lot of come from behind victories. For a guy that's played 17 seasons, you would think he's one of the guys that leads the league. Very limited in that number. And I would say to you this, I mean, does he really have a passion for the game? It's one thing to love it. It's another thing to love it and have a passion for the game and want to be great at the game. Tom Brady's all in. There's no denying that. This guy's 44 years of age. Some people say, well, how's Brady doing it? It's because it's a desire. Let me tell you something about preparing yourself for a season. Do you know how much time you spend by yourself preparing for an upcoming football season when nobody's watching you? Nobody has the lights on you. Nobody's giving you direction. Nobody's saying anything. Most of the time, it's on you to run those hills. It's on you to show up to the gym. It's on you when you're injured to go and get rehab. It's on you to prepare yourself mentally and physically for an upcoming season. You're doing that for 22 consecutive years on not lifting your head up. You think you could do that? You think you could do that for 5 years? My point is that most people can't stay focused that long. Most people don't have the desire to do something that long. Most people, they lose. You get success. What happens when some people get success? They lose sight of what got them there. I've done that in the past. I'm guilty of that. I'm totally guilty of that. So when you talk about the two differences between these guys, it's plain and simple. It is. It's just plain and simple. One guy wanted to be there, and one guy doesn't want to be there. Or he wants to be there when things are going really great for him. That's how I look at it. Look, I think he is a superstar player, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, the guy in Green Bay. But that guy in Tampa, there is just something different about him. There's something that makes him so special. I keep telling you guys this. One of the greatest things that he has is he's the best 1-0 player I've ever seen. And I throw that line at you all the time. But it's so true. They're talking in Tampa now that Brady's been coaching the team. Everybody's hyper-focused on the upcoming season. Gronk says that he's in the best shape that he's ever been in. That's great to hear, man. That is great to hear. Especially when you're the defending champions. Dude, make no mistake about it. Okay? The difference between this guy and that guy is the same difference between Jordan and LeBron. And you would go like this. Is LeBron a better basketball player all around than Jordan? Probably. But you take Jordan over him. Is Aaron Rodgers a better player than Tom Brady all around? Probably. But you'd still take Brady. Why? Because of that intangible. And that's the thing that you can't evaluate when we're talking about drafting. You can't look inside a guy's heart and what motivates him. Have you ever seen that picture of Tom Brady on draft day when Tom Brady is like, he has no body, he has no muscle tone. He ran one of the worst 40-yard dashes in the history of the NFL combines. And everyone went like this. Jesus Christ, is this guy even going to make it to a roster? Nobody looked at. Hey, and the Patriots missed him 5 times also. It wasn't like, they were right. Remember, they took him like something like almost a 200th pick in the draft. What makes that guy great, though, is the thing that holds Aaron Rodgers back. He just doesn't have that intestinal fortitude. And to me, that's the thing that you look at, in my opinion, when it comes to that position. That's all I'm saying, is that it's a clear difference. It's a total clear difference when you're looking at one guy versus another guy here. All right. I want to throw this out at you, too. Major League Baseball is preparing to do something that is completely anti-Ray. I want to show you something here on what baseball is doing now. Major League Baseball is going to propose a $100 million salary floor, stiffer luxury taxes. What team does this affect the most? It affects what team? It affects the Rays. The Rays never have a $100 million payroll. They're going to make the Rays spend $100 million that they don't have. It's one of the worst attendance teams in all of baseball. They don't have the resources to do that. So what does that mean? That means they have to take some of the resources that they have on their farm system that has made them better than the Yankees and the Red Sox and spend it on the big team. They're forcing the Rays to basically, and get this, they're handicapping the Rays because the Yankees and the Red Sox can't compete with the Rays. You talk about loading the deck. The Yankees and that Nesson network in Boston and the Yes Network in New York make millions of dollars for those ball teams. The Yes Network bitches at ESPN all the time because they always have Yankee games on. And they, get this, they have to compensate the Yes Network for some of the games now that they're taking off the Yes Network. So they compensate. Do you know what the Rays Network is? Nothing. They get no money for having, like, I think it's Fox Sports South Florida or Fox Sports Florida that airs their games. Valley Sports does it. That's right. Same thing with the Padres deal. The Padres don't have a lot of money going into that television deal. But even the Mets have a damn good deal when it comes to their cable network. This hurts teams like the Rays. The Rays have a $62 million payroll, and they're kicking the living crap out of New York. Look at the standings. They're a 90-plus win team every year without overspending. Why would you put that on them? Oh, because what you're doing is you're crippling their minor league system because the Rays have put the best minor league system. The Rays have the best minor league system in baseball. There's no one close. Nobody's close to the Rays. When you can lose the kind of players that they lose, like they lost a Cy Young Award winner last year. Did it matter? No, they're in first place. And get this, they're probably going to go back to the series again. They lost David Price a few years ago. They dumped his ass, got draft choices for him. They probably could have got a little more for David Price. That was probably one of the only deals that I thought that Andrew Silverman and also Andrew Friedman kind of got hijacked on. But you know what? They still ended up making it happen. Baseball's loading the deck against the Rays. Imagine this. The Rays are doing it right. They, that stuff that they had in Oakland with Moneyball, The real money ball's in Tampa. The stuff they do in Tampa is the true money ball. Boston and New York cannot compete with that baseball team. And they want the Rays to spend $100 million when the Rays have not. I covered that team for 15 years. And I will tell you this, I don't ever remember the Tampa Bay Rays with a $100 million payroll. Maybe one time when Canseco was there, they had a $100 million payroll. Maybe. And then they started dumping players. Maybe they had a one time in their and the ownership. Maybe when Vince Namoli, maybe 1 year they were broaching that. I think the Rays are the best organization in baseball. I really do. When you could spend that little of money and you're kicking the living, I'd like to swear on this one because it's so amazing what they do. Okay, crap, I'll use it. They're kicking the crap out of them. The Red Sox are almost eliminated. They spent $200 million. The Yankees do spend. In 5 years, the Yankees had $1 billion payroll, and the Rays kicked the crap out of them. And hey, are the Yankees more entertaining to watch? Absolutely. Do they have the bigger names? Absolutely. Do they have the bigger brand? Absolutely. Too bad you're not a good organization like them. And by the way, you get rid of Joe Madden. Didn't matter, did it? Kevin Cash goes in there. Guy's manager of the year. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's management. And it's ownership. That's a hell of an organization. It really is. It's an amazing organization on what they do. I want to talk a little bit more about Shohei Ohtani. This is a story that has to be promoted more. All right. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. What do you mean, whatever? Absolutely not. No way. Who was the highest paid guy on that team was Evan Longoria. That's it. No, not Huff. Huff got his money in San Francisco. So if the preseason doesn't matter. Preseason doesn't matter. So if the preseason doesn't matter, it sure showed tonight. I can tell you this. I know last year they didn't have a $100 million payroll. I'm sorry? It couldn't have been that low, Chris. Last year, the Rays payroll was $28 million. Wow, that is so low. Wow. But that and Chris, that's why you're not going to get a lot of attendance because nobody's going to go see nobody's. I did. And to me, as far as I'm concerned, no. To me, it's karma. That's what I said. Ooh. Chris just said something very cool. Trevor, I got something here for you. Holy cow. How about this? Not that I'm gloating or anything, but the arena in Glendale, Arizona. Yes. Okay, should I gloat? And you know what's really sad? I told my wife this tonight before we went on the air. Get this, man. I'm actually friends with Rick Tocchet, and I like the Rocket. Me and him are friends. Rick and I are great, but so get this, because they're not paying their bills. They owe the arena in Glendale $1.5 million. And the arena has told them, from what I'm understanding, they have to get out of that arena. And after this coming year, they don't really have a place to play in the Phoenix area. So to me, how about this? Let's do this. How about the Hartford Whalers or the Quebec Nordiques? Now, you put that team back in Hartford, I think it would work. I think you would get a lot of Connecticut, and I do think, but man, I don't know if the Bruins and the Rangers and the Islanders and the Devils, right, man, would go for something like that. I don't know. You could put, I don't know, Phil. I don't know. Flyers are a different breed, man. People love that team. Trevor says the center is a dump now, though. So would you go back to something like that? It's the XL Center now. It's not the Hartford Civic Center. Jesus Christ. It's called the XL Center. Oh, but could you? Hey, wait a minute now. I don't think you could go wrong if you sent that team to Canada and sent it to Quebec. Quebec wants a team. Hamilton? Where else could you put the Coyotes? Could you put them in Mexico? I don't know, man. They were talking about Houston, San Antonio. Yeah. Could you double up in Dallas? How about Salt Lake City? How about Kansas City? They failed that was a WHL, so they didn't really fail there with the Arrows because they just didn't take them. The Hartford Whalers, baby. We're playing the Whalers song right now. Brass Bonanza, baby. God, I love that team, man. Every time I see the Carolina Hurricane, dude, I go like this. I kind of like them. But I'm always like kind of a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. Steve just said, but it's impossible to get anything done for businesses there in California. Dude, they'll never build an arena, or they'll never build a professional sports stadium in California ever again. That'll never happen. Never happen. There's too much taxes out here. And plus, by the way, I got my governor's voting card and I got my ballot. I'm clearly going to vote. My vote's going to get Governor Newsom out of office. I don't want the guy as the governor any longer. He sucks. He's terrible. He's run the state completely into the ground. Dude, yeah, let him run the guy. Well, no, you know what? If he ran the Coyotes, man, the Coyotes definitely would be in Mexico. Oh my God, man. Wait a minute now, man. Wait a minute. Hang on here now. Check it out. Coyotes at the Hartford Civic Center. Dude, I'm in with that. Barry. Why? Nobody cares about the Coyotes. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. All right. I want to hit on Shohei Ohtani. We'll talk some more National Football League. We'll reset and keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Yeah, that was good. All right, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Be right back. Gotcha. That was a good bit. Oh yeah, I got you. I would think Houston. I could think Houston. Yeah, I think Houston could do that, man. I mean, unless you're going back to some city in Canada. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's what it's called. So MTDR 11 just said this. You think the Tijuana Coyotes would be okay? You know what I mean? Houston. Yeah. Why? What's going on? I'm not. I'm sick and tired of this cable system. I got to get a new carrier. Me. Okay. Gotcha. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. So much going on in the world of sports right now. And thank God there's a lot going on in the world of sports, especially all the news that you're seeing on your news channels, man. I mean, every day it's something just new. And that's why we call it the happy hour of radio. We got a lot of people asking us questions here tonight. And the only way that you really can ask us questions, we do things differently here on the Dan Sileo Show. Now, listen, if you're listening to us in one of our fabulous affiliates, we really appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming aboard with us like you do. And I say every single night, we so appreciate as the show is growing. Also on our social media platforms, whether it be Twitter or Twitch or my YouTube channel, we thank you. You guys post some stuff like you do on my streaming show, the National Football Show that I do during the day. So thank you. I try to respond to as much as I possibly can. Yes, there is a football game. What kind of a football game going on tonight? The Eagles never showed up. I mean, they just never showed up. It's an embarrassing performance tonight. If the game doesn't matter, and this is what I tweeted out. Let me get it exactly right. Right now it's 35-0. And I tweeted this out here. And if the game doesn't matter, I mean, honestly, you got guys on that football team that need this game to make this club. So if the preseason doesn't matter, it's your show tonight with the Eagles' performance. That's a damn truth, man. That is the damn truth. They just didn't show up tonight. That team did not show up tonight to play. And when you're telling me you're not playing your ones, and don't give me the excuse, well, you know what? Here, how about this? Don't give me the excuse, well, they didn't play their ones. Why? Who the hell are you? Did you win the NFC East last year? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do they do that? By the way, I got a couple of people asking me, Dan, are the Oakland A's going to move to Vegas? Baseball wants to get there. I think the A's are the team that's going to go there, by the way. Okay? Yeah, that's right, Stephen. It's one of the reasons why I don't take phone calls. Because troll callers, if you listen to most radio shows, they destroy radio shows. Rush Limbaugh told me that years ago. It's one of the reasons why we use all of our platforms. We so appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you, Ken. He called the Deagles stink. The Beagles, they stink. I don't like they do. For damn sure. I mean, absolutely, man. Could the A's go to Vegas? Yeah. Why not? Can you imagine the money that the Oakland Athletics would make? The city of Oakland is not going to build them a stadium. They're lying to them. They ran the Raiders out of town, and now they're running the A's out of town. Hey, and for the record, they ran the Golden State Warriors out of town. Golden State Warriors now play in San Francisco. They don't play in Oakland any longer. The city of Oakland. Why do you think the Raiders are in Vegas now? Al Davis got lied to when he moved the team from Los Angeles back to the Oakland Bay Area. I was on the first broadcast team. Al told me this personally. You know, the Governor Brown? Governor Brown was the mayor of Oakland, and he completely lied to the Raiders, saying that any seats that weren't filled with season tickets, the city would pick it up. They ended up lying on that. And the Raiders had to sue him in court to get that. Yeah, I mean, it was a complete train wreck. Al would never have put the Raiders back in Oakland. He wanted to move it to Hollywood Park, where the Rams have their stadium now, in Inglewood, or he wanted Vegas. He had two locations. Al was really the first sports team that wanted to put a sports team in Las Vegas. And the NFL was so against gambling and all this and that, you know, they didn't see through the trees through the forest and all that. Al, of course, being who Al is, everybody now asks for new stadiums. Everybody threatens relocation. You think that's not because of Al Davis? That's completely because of Al Davis. Completely. So the A's moving there would be the best thing ever happened to Major League Baseball, because there's a ton of money in Vegas. You imagine having a World Series in Las Vegas? Holy cow, would that be awesome. Holy cow, that would be amazing if you had the World Series. Hey, I think the NBA is going to get there too soon. I think it's going to be a mad race between the NBA and Major League Baseball on who gets there first. The Raiders have shown you. You know how? Let me tell you how smart Mark Davis was, how Mark Davis got his Raider team. After the NFL hosed them on being the partner with the Rams or the Chargers to move into LA, the NFL wanted the Raiders to go to Santa Clara and wanted them to share that stadium with the 49ers. And Mark Davis said, absolutely no way are we going to share a building with the 49ers. His dad would roll over in his grave. You know how they made that happen too? It used to be like a 150-mile radius or a 75-mile radius. It used to be on what a territory was for a particular NFL team. I think they shortened it to 50. So they put the Raiders inside of the 49ers area and territory when they built that new stadium. And so basically what they did was they were forcing the Raiders' hand. So what did he do? He went to Carolyn Goodman, the mayor of Vegas, and he went to the governor of Nevada and said, hey, listen, we'd like to move the Raiders to Las Vegas. So you know what they did? They gave him that piece of property right next to McCarran Airport. They put that beautiful stadium up. They gave him $750 million in a bag of money. And the Raiders now, my God, over the next couple of years, you talk about the revenue stream that they're going to have. And now that you have legalized gambling, and now that you have the Raiders in the heart of legalized gambling, the Raiders are going to be a financially wealthy team. It's the best thing ever happened to the Raider organization. Best thing ever happened to them. The amount of money now that they're going to generate is going to be incredible, especially when we have organized gambling now. Honestly, man, this is a great move. Sports right now, you know, we get to have Sean McManus on our program because we're dear friends with him. He's the chairman of CBS Sports. He says it all the time to me. that sports right now on any network television's campaign to have shows each and every single year, sports is number one. It's one of the only live shows that you can put on your networks nowadays. That is sports. No matter what the ratings are. You know, the NBA is negotiating a new contract, and the NBA is going to ask for double the revenue that they're making now. Who cares that the ratings are down as long as you're getting the money? The NFL television deals are so enormous. You're talking $3 billion per network. Think about that. NBC, Fox, CBS, and ESPN are paying in excess of $3 billion a year to broadcast NFL football. That's not counting the Super Bowl. The league owns all television rights to the postseason, not local teams. The amount of money that you're generating with those commercial spots during the Super Bowl. Hey, it wouldn't shock me one day if you had to have pay-per-view to watch the Super Bowl one day. Would you pay pay-per-view to watch the Super Bowl? I know I would. I've paid $50 for worse things. Wouldn't you? Can you imagine the amount of money the NFL would make if they put the Super Bowl on pay-per-view? Good grief. If you can make $150 million for a Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight per fighter, what would you make for a game like that? I'm telling you, we're rolling towards that. Television and sports, it's a big business now. You know, I don't know how people would ever buy another sports franchise again. Let me tell you this. This is one of the great stories of all time. So when Jerry Jones bought the Dallas Cowboys, he bought it for $150 million, right around there. You know what Donald Trump said? Donald Trump said that's the worst deal. He overpaid for the Cowboys. Team's worth $6 billion now. Think about how that team has gone up since 1989 when it comes to the value of that team and what Jerry has done with it. It's been remarkable, and the growth of that. NFL has prospered so much from television. And Major League Baseball, if they do it right, they could prosper. You put an A's team in Vegas. You put I would put two teams in Vegas. Watch this. The Rays don't get their stadium in Tampa. Why don't you put the Rays in Vegas and the A's? Or for that matter, well, the Marlins got a brand new stadium, right? Why don't you put the Rays and the A's in Las Vegas? Tell me that wouldn't be a grand slam. Huge. All right, let me get into this storyline. By the way, there's 3:18 left of this nightmare. I mean, the Eagles look horrific. I mean, they just look horrific tonight. Unprepared and just nowhere. I mean, that's a poor-looking roster right now. Wow. I teased going into this, Shohei Ohtani, the superstar from the Los Angeles Angels. I'll tell you something. Last night, 7 innings. This guy's throwing 100 miles an hour. He hit his 40th bomb last night. How in the world are you not making this guy front and center if you're baseball? You should have him on every single day. Don't put the Yankees on. People in Chicago don't care about the Yankees. Why is it so that baseball has to get the New York ratings? It's almost like, politics. You know why some people, they don't understand another particular party like the Republican Party? Because not everything in America is New York and Los Angeles and California. The rest of the country is in the middle. That's the fan base for the NFL. It's Middle America and the South. That's pretty much the sports fans, too. That's your baseball fans. Hey, East Coast East Coast is pretty good football fans. They are. But East Coast is great baseball fans, Red Sox fans, Yankee fans, Philly fans, Oriole fans, Nationals fans. Tony Kornheiser, that's an ode to him. There are so many great. You've got to promote this guy a little more. And get this, man. I mean, get here. You've got, Steven just said this, Mike Trout's on that team. And he's outshining him. I'll tell you, I have never in my Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player I've ever seen and that I've ever covered. You know who the second guy was? You know who the second best baseball player guy I ever covered was? Ricky Henderson. And they were both in the Bay Area. This guy, Ohtani, he is absolutely something special. Amy Trask at the bottom of the hour. Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback of the Chiefs. I want to hit on him next. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. Is he all right? Look at that. So how do I have to set Amy up? Okay. Where you going? Go ahead. Why? Yeah, I just need to know what Amy, what's the first thing with Amy? Ugh. Yeah, I know how to handle that. That's good. If you want to push the dump button on that one thing for Cube tomorrow, that might cover that. Wouldn't that tighten it up? Okay. All right, I got it. That's okay. I got it. It's not. So you're going to give me a 5-second countdown? Yeah, like that to get into the interview. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I don't. No. No. Christo just said something interesting to me. Did I ever think we'd be in an era where smoking weed would be acceptable in professional sports? No. No, absolutely not. You know what was even funnier? When we talk about this, and this topic was always something that we brought up. You know, the drugs that I took during the regular season were 75 times more potent than anything you could ever smoke when it came to marijuana. The Vicodins, the Percocets, the Percodans, all of that stuff that we took. And get this, they were given to us by team physicians. And you know what you would end up saying? The NFL would end up going, yeah, but you can't smoke pot. And you know what would make that even more obnoxious? Is that, get this, you get a 4-game suspension back in the day for smoking Mary Jane, but if you hit her, you only get 2 games. That's how crazy the mentality was with the NFL back in the day. Yes. Correct. So it would be like this, Chris. I show up in my locker that morning. I tell the doctor the day before, and there would be a little vanilla envelope filled with Percocets, maybe it would be some prescription aspirin that we would take, Naproxen 600, something like that in our locker the next day. Oh, no, that's one day when you said that to me, and you said that to me, Chris, that, okay, did you ever think you'd be in an era now? And quite frankly, we talk about marijuana being okay accepted when it came to police. Absolutely not that I think I'd ever be in an era like that. And for the NFL to now start to say this, we're now in a position now where the NFL does this. Okay, they're really holding these players' feet any longer. The NBA isn't even test. Okay, they don't even test right now for marijuana. They don't test. So I mean, at the end of the day, we're getting in a position. Who would have thought so, right? How about this? We're now in a position where we're not talking about gambling anymore, or marijuana, or drugs that any longer in the NFL, and those things are being now accepted. It's crazy. I get it. I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying now. I get it. I mean, bottom line here is the Rose conversation. absolutely belongs now in a position where you need to put that guy back in to the conversation of putting him in the Hall of Fame. All right, Amy Trask is going to join us. We'll talk to her next. Keep it on the show. Yeah, I can hear you now. It's the connection. There's no doubt my cable's going in and out right now. But what's good about this upcoming segment, you've got control of it there. Why do you sound like Margaret Thatcher? You sound like Margaret Thatcher. Trask. She's the former CEO of the Raiders and now works for CBS Sports. Trask with a K. No. She was the former CEO of the Raiders, and she now works with CBS Sports. Of the Raiders. She was for 21 years. She's got two. She loved it. Yeah. She was involved in the relocation to LA. And she's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah, but do they want them? And plus, they reneged. They owe the arena that they're at now $1.5 million. Doesn't have a lot of money. Exactly, they're not making money. That shows you that loan that they took too. Oh, really? Huh? Yes. Oh, Jesus. Mid-90s. Yeah, just give me a count. Go like this, Chris, if you can. Minute and 30 and 10, and I'll take it from there. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Hope all are having a great time tonight. Amy Trask, the former CEO of the Raiders, and now works with CBS Sports, will be with us here in a bit. I love that little thing that we were doing a couple segments ago about where to move are they the Arizona Coyotes or the Phoenix Coyotes? Who cares? Thank you very much. And if I'm gloating, I am gloating a little bit. Okay, that organization, for whatever reason, had a cow with big sills, and I have no idea why. They don't know me from a campaign. Never spoke to me before. And I know some of you are going, well, what are you talking about? Well, I'm not gonna dive deep into it, but let's just say this. Me and an NHL team didn't have a very good relationship. And by the way, as I will tell you, I've got a great relationship with 99.9% of the teams in the NHL. I mean, I have a friend who's an SVP with the Vegas Golden Knights. I know almost every single person with the world champion Tampa Bay Lightning. I know everybody down with the Florida Panthers. I know a boatload of people in Carolina. Cam Neely is a dear friend of mine in Boston. I can go down the list, man. The Edmonton Oilers? Are you kidding me? Kevin Lowe, who's a great friend of mine, runs that entire organization. Absolutely runs that entire organization. So I would love to see the Coyotes playing potentially in New Haven. All right. Got to get to our friend Amy Trask. All right, dude. All right, I'll be right. I'll be back at 50, right? This has been a bumpy show because the connection. All right. Fox News. Connection tonight was terrible to my cable. Yeah. Thank you. Houston. Because can you name me a bigger market in the United States that doesn't have a hockey team? In the top 10 cities. Every top 10 city in America has a hockey team but Houston. But would they support it in Houston? They were the WHL. They were. How about Portland? Yeah, that's what I think too. Quebec. Thank you, Amy Trask. From CBS Sports. Can you imagine this, okay? Amy Trask now works for CBS Sports, okay? She was the CEO of the Raiders for like 20 years. Al Davis, the owner of the Raiders, hired the first minority head coach in Tom Flores. Then he hired the first black coach in Archell. He hired the first woman CEO of an NFL team in Amy Trask. Al Davis was so ahead of his time. The arguments that he used to have with Rozelle, I don't know if you've seen that 30 for 30, which is brilliantly done. They superimpose these faces of Rozelle and Al Davis on these two guys, and it is really well done. They got a computer-generated voice to sound like both of these guys talking, and they were telling the story using also video clips of both men on how they did battle when it came to basically revolutionizing the National Football League. And make no mistake about it, Al Davis, what he did, he was completely responsible for the owners' football teams growing in wealth because of his insight. You know what he was saying? When every NFL owner was battling him on moving his team, he went like this: well, I can get a new stadium. It's going to increase my net wealth, and it's going to increase the wealth of the league. Why wouldn't you want a brand new facility for your professional football team? Not only can you use it for professional football, tractor pulls like RNC and Democratic conventions, things like that, concerts. The NFL now and the stadiums that they have are massive business. Why do you think Jay-Z's now part of the halftime entertainment part of it? And they now are involved with AIG and all them guys. And that's got to do with Jay-Z now. Personally, I think Jay-Z is going to be an owner of an NFL team one day. Not a sole owner, but I think he'll be a partnership owner because I think that's where the NFL is going. Your next owner is not going to be Robert Iger, or maybe both of them. It may be Bob Iger and Jay-Z. They got the money to do it and put a partnership together. I don't know what that'll be. It could be the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are for sale right now. They just can't figure it out because the Bolin family is having internal battles on ownership. But make no mistake about it, they're trying to sell that. That's a team that's for sale. There's only one team for sale in the NFL. You're not going to really be selling any of these teams any longer because the net wealth of these teams are just over the top. And so the Denver Broncos is a pretty damn good brand, isn't it? And the only reason that you don't see Stan Kroenke on it because Kroenke owns the Nuggets and he owns the Avalanche. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he could be part owner or have an ownership in that Rockies team. I don't know if he's full owner because I don't think he is, but I do know that he has the Nuggets and the Avalanche. And, of course, he owns the Rams. Would he switch off? I don't think he'd want to leave market number 2 because of the value of the team. The Rams brand is enormous. But Amy was all involved in that. She's been offered 4 president's jobs to run an NFL team. And you know what she decided to do? She decided to go to work for Ice Cube. She is now the CEO of Big 3 Basketball. And Big 3 Basketball is pretty fun. They got games this weekend coming up too, which are really cool. And I guess the championship is going to be in the Bahamas, if I'm not mistaken. But it's an ingenious idea having Big 3 Basketball. It continues the brand of a lot of these NBA guys. Once they leave, the NBA, get an opportunity to, keep making money off your name. And it was really an ingenious idea from Ice Cube. And now they're playing 3-on-3 basketball at the Olympic Games. Pretty cool stuff, man. Really cool. I'll tell you what, though. Chris O, I think, had the topic of the night. Where the hell to put the Coyotes? They're not going to be in the Phoenix area Too much longer. See? Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Look at him looking out for big sales. Houston, what do you think, Chris? Hey, Godzilla. Houston. Yeah, Houston Aeros. Yep, Houston Aeros. You think they could support it, huh? I think that'd be a great location. Having NHL hockey in the top 10 city. All right. See you later. We will talk more NFL. We'll reset and keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show. Good. Vaspodonia, man. I was like, what the hell is he doing? I like it, though, man. You bet, brother. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll talk to you later, man. Bye. Yeah, man, we had all kinds of cable connection issues tonight. My stupid cable.